It's a packed show today on Trader Chat with Johnny Ward and Flynn Goward. And of course, there is only one place to start. The great man may not have admitted it, but he has lost the election. Joe Biden is the new president-to-be of the United States. And all this is very good news for Star Sports. And all this is very good news for Ben Keith, who, Flynn, actually said that he's had his biggest bet ever on Biden last week. And personally, that was one thing. But also for the firm, he did want Biden to win.
Exactly. I mean, he was a small loser in our book. We just found it really hard to lay Trump. We've been trying to lay Trump week after week. We did lay him, and we did lay him at all right prices. I mean, when the prices were going all over the place for the last couple of days, we did lay Trump at 130, 41. We were always top price and machine price. So we did manage to lay him, which meant that Biden wasn't as bad a result as it could have been. Could have been a horrific result, Biden, but we managed to get a bit of it back. So it was just a slightly bad result. But Ben would be very happy having his biggest ever career bet. He came out on Twitter last week, said he's had his biggest bet of his career on Biden. So we were cheering it on for the boss, and it looks like it's now all over the line, even though Trump's playing golf and not accepting defeat.
Yeah, what sort of wagers would one take on this? Like, was it, were the heavy hitters in, especially as, that madness that ensued over the last few days where Trump became hot favorite at one stage?
In terms of the heavy hitters, it was more before the counting kind of started. We did lay some decent bets on Trump when he moved back out. When he went to like 1.5 and shorter, we didn't lay much of him. It was when he was going, he was still in front in the polls, but not the polls. Sorry, still ahead in the count, and his price was moving the other way. Was when we were laying him, and then he kind of once he got to 16, etc. He was moving from there really. I mean, even when Biden was about 128, I just couldn't see how he got beat. I couldn't believe the price. But yeah, the bigger hitters were in more pre-counting.
We're going to stick with matters stateside. The Breeders' Cup was so strange, Flynn. I was watching the racing, and the commentator, you have that razzmatazz with the commentator as they leave the gates in the States to the sound of the tumbleweed, absolute silence. It was so weird, but how was it results-wise?
Do you know what? It was going swimmingly. It was amazing.
It was going swimmingly.
It was, yeah. The last race absolutely killed us, but before the last race, we laid magical in the Breeders' Cup turf pretty heavily. So we're happy to see Tana go and get up there. And what a great weekend for the European horses. I mean, they did fantastic out there. But then the last race, Authentic winning, was a horrific result, and that knocked us right back. So we ended up pretty level on the Breeders' Cup, even though we were miles ahead.
Well, say Authentic, right? So that's obviously a fairly unique race for Star Sports to be having a bet on. Do you actually take an opinion on that race, or is it's just the misfortune that you've just laid a particular horse heavy, because it's not like you're laying a Gold Cup or whatever?
Complete misfortune. I mean, to be honest, we don't tend to take much of an opinion on any races day of race. It would always be anti-post if we do. But yeah, it was just unfortunate. One of our bigger hitting punters came in a bet Authentic, and it just wiped us out.
Lovely. Well, what about the UK and Ireland over the weekend? There was some very interesting Navan, obviously, action rather yesterday at Navan, and we had some proper jumps action in the UK as well. How did it go?
Yeah, we saw the Jam Man win the Troy Town yesterday. I thought that'd be a bad result, but it wasn't too bad.
Money for Jam.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was fine, that result, to be honest with you. One horse I did want to talk about was Dusar winning, related to Simon Sig, shortened up the Supreme.
Half brother.
Yeah, now 16 for the Supreme and 25 for the Ballymore. And we can't not talk about UK racing and not talk about, you know what I mean, Harry. I mean, what an 07 coming back and winning Aintree. I mean, fantastic to see. Not sure on that for anything, because you've got no idea where he's going to go, and he's an old boy now, but just great to see.
Well, interesting enough, the same owner obviously has Sire de Burley, who now looks like he might be the type to go for the Stayers Hurdle. And a horse I would suggest to keep an eye on as well as Wide Receiver, who was third in the for auction novice hurdle. He's going to be a massive price. I'm not even sure if Star Sports haven't priced actually for the Albert Bartlett, but keep an eye on that. Yes, because it's one of these, like, if you can back a horse sort of 33s, 50s at this stage that you think is going to run in the race, something to keep us motivated in this long and grim November, Flynn.
I know, tell me about it. I mean, I'm working from home here, and anything to keep thinking positive is the way to go. So I'll take a look at the Albert Bartlett later, and I'll get it priced up and come back to you.
Can't help but look at that guitar as well to your left.
I'm not going to get out and start playing it, Johnny, so let's move on.
Probably be playing a violin by the end of this, but football. Man City versus Liverpool. I thought Man City were very, very short, I have to say. But then again, De Bruyne should score a penalty and they probably win the game. Liverpool went with what looked a somewhat kamikaze 4 attackers in the team. But it actually was a fairly cagey second half in the end. It was the draw, the predictably good result that it should have been.
Yeah, they look quite tired towards the end. I thought. I mean, in the first half, I thought Liverpool were just going to go on and win it. In terms of how that's affected markets, so we're now looking for the outright winner. Liverpool are favourites now 6-4, but only marginally. City are 13-8. Chelsea still shortening up 8-1, third in. Tottenham at 8-1. I think that looks short now. I didn't think they looked great, even though they got the result this weekend. Leicester 28, and then Manchester United are 30s and 50-1. Bar that's Arsenal at 50s. Thought we looked really poor yesterday, same week. Obviously, I support Arsenal. Interesting for the weekend it's affected some of our other markets. So when we're looking at the next manager to leave post, we thought that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to shorten right up, and he managed to buy himself a bit of time. But he's now 6-5 favourite next to go. Slavan Bilic stepping into 2-1. Scott Parker 100-30, and then 10's Bar. So that's an interesting market to keep an eye on, especially with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United.
Well, that's an interesting one because Solskjaer came out with a bizarre tirade after the game in relation to player welfare. They'd been in Istanbul, blah, blah, blah. And maybe punters are taking the implication that this was the action of a desperate man.
Yeah. I mean, he looks pretty clueless to me. I mean, he has to be next to go. I mean, whenever you look at him, I don't think there's any confidence in what he's doing. Whereas when you look at a Mikel Arteta, a Pep Guardiola, a Klopp, you feel confident about what they're doing. When I look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I just look at him and think he just doesn't really know what he's doing. He's winging it. But again, results will tell. So he's 6-5, market leader to go next. Some other markets that we've got up. So we spoke about the first to 10 Premier League goals, and that market's hotting up massively. We've gone back up the prices. So we've got quite a few players on 8 goals now, and we did have Son in his favourites. Obviously, he was on the 8 goal mark, and he still is. But Mo Salah's now got up to 8 goals, and he's 11-4 favourite. Dominic Calvert-Lewin also on 8 goals, 7-2. Vardy joined there at 7-2. Could have got to 9 goals if he didn't miss his second penalty at the weekend. Kane's also shortened up. He's 4-1. He's on 7 goals, and then Son is the one that's gone the other way. He's 4-1, and he's also on 8 goals. It's quite an interesting market to get stuck into there. We've got them all under the Football Outrights page if you go to the website.
Yeah, you are wearing a cap that wouldn't be out of place on golfers of yesteryear. Let's talk Masters.
Yeah, massive week in the Masters. Obviously gets underway on Thursday. We've got all the usual markets up. So we've got the tournament winner, the top 5, the top 10, the top 20, 72-hole matches, 72-hole groups, top nationalities, hole-in-one winning margin. You asked for it and we've got it. We've also got some special markets which we will have up, which will be the 72-hole threesomes, a limited handicap where we'll have 10 players all starting off handicap starts, and there'll be similar prices. We'll have tournament winning score, and we're also going to do birdie or better on each hole, which is a special that we haven't done before. So we're going to have 8 players, so the top 7 in the market plus Tiger Woods. So for the first round only, on each hole, for each player, you can bet them to birdie or better the hole. You can perm these up in multiples, so what better to be sitting and watching the Masters and watching it hole by hole and betting that player on the screen to birdie or better the hole. Great chance to take an opinion on a certain hole if you think that it's going to play easier than our odds suggest. The 13th in particular is obviously quite an easy hole. So there's some interesting markets that we'll have up this week, and we've also got offers. So we've got the miscut offer. So if your player misses the cut and you have a bet in the outright market, we'll give you a free bet to the same stake of up to 100 quid for win bets. And if it's an each way bet, it will be the win part only. And we've also got sign-up offers, so free match bet if Tiger Woods birdies the first hole of his Masters tournament. So loads of offers and specials to get involved in this week. In terms of liabilities, we're taking on Bryson DeChambeau, who's 17-2. We're also taking on Dustin Johnson at 9-1. Jason Day is a bad loser in the book at the moment at 35s, and as is Cameron Smith at 80s. Need to stress that obviously this is early money with the most of the money is going to come in between now and Thursday, but those are the losers so far in the book for us, Johnny.
And finally, I sound a bit like Julie Collier here, but it is hard to believe Cheltenham's November meeting is coming up.
I know, tell me about it. We haven't laid a huge amount coming up this weekend, and I thought I'd wear the flat cap just to pretend like I am going there this weekend. One horse we have laid is the Russian Dawn in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. So there's one to look at there. We've laid that at 20, so that's shortened up slightly. Entries will start coming through today for all the big races, so keep an eye on site for all of them.
Thanks a million, Flynn.
No worries, cheers, Johnny.
And that was Trader Chat. Thank you for watching.